Many farmers say the $12 billion in aid from the federal government is welcome, but many farmers also say that it's a small band-aid to the economic challenges they're facing. Yeung says over his decades of farming, one thing usually rings true. A good crop yield usually means good returns, but unusually, he says, not last year.
It's been the worst year ever. This was the first year that we've ever actually had a really good crop, and we lost money, and I've never lost money farming in my 40 some odd years.
He says he farms around 3,000 acres of various crops, like the sorghum, in his hands.
We grow canning tomatoes, we grow fresh market tomatoes, we grow safflower and wheat and corn. What our problem is the price of labor and fuel.
He says farming now feels like the crisis of the 80s, with collapsing crop prices, soaring interest rates and heavy debt, and why he wrote a letter to numerous political leaders, including the president, who he voted for in the last election.
President Trump to J.D. Vance wrote a letter to the Secretary of Agriculture, both the state and federal, so just to try to get some kind of attention to make them aware of our plight.
Across the board, farmers are facing higher costs from gas to power vehicles, materials like fertilizer and equipment. But there is one cost above the rest, says agricultural economist Dan Sumner.
So let me be California specific here. And for us, number one is hired farm labor. And that puts pressure on the farm operator.
Dan says trade disputes among world leaders is also adding pressure to crop prices in the US, which is being felt by many farmers. The federal government has announced it will use some tariff revenues to aid farmers.
They're the backbone of our country, so we're going to use that money to provide $12 billion in economic assistance to American farmers. $12 billion is a lot of money.
$11 billion will go to row crops which are not heavily farmed in California, like soybeans and corn, by the end of February. $1 billion will go to specialty crops like fruits, tomatoes and nuts, which are heavily farmed in California. Aid will certainly help, says Dan, but it's not a solution.
I don't think there's any reputable economists that are enthusiastic about farm subsidies as a way to help the economics of agriculture.
Ray says it's welcome help, but he would rather a good market than a handout from the president.
It's just a band-aid. I don't think it's enough to get us out of our problems, but anything's a help.
He says Congressman Amy Berra has agreed to meet with him, and he'll keep speaking up for farmers like him who may not survive another year like 2025. Dan also says the strict regulations California farmers face in terms of environmental and labour practices are playing a part in the economic challenges as other states lessen regulations. Back to you.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Let Spectrum News be your resource for balanced, in-depth political coverage. And click the subscribe button here. You can also download our app and watch us on TV to learn more about the candidates, where they stand on the issues, and more. We'll see you then.